2nd and 8. And another deep ball for Hill. He hauls it in. And there you go.
No gain on that play. 2nd and 15. Long ball again. Rice with a one-handed stab. Rice.
And he's looking for Julio Jones. And oh, what a
time. Going back again to Moss. Touchdown Patriots. And here's Stafford putting it up for Johnson. And Johnson makes the catch.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fade Late podcast. I'm Chad Jeffries, and I'm going to be recapping the Monday Night Football game, the Dolphins-Saints game. So the Dolphins, they won 20-3, and it was a pretty sound win. Big-time defensive battle like Zach and I talked about and guessed it was going to be before the game in our last video. Let's talk Dolphins, though. Tua honestly looked really good from what I saw. He had this one pick. It seems like he always has these one throw, like a few throws a game where it's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, other than that, though, like, he did really well, 73% completion percentage. So that helps boost his completion percentage up on the year. He was 19 for 26 with 198 yards, also threw a touchdown. Now, the touchdown wasn't really a throw. It was sort of just like a shovel pass to Jalen Waddle. But no, Tua Tagovailoa was really commanding the offense. Now, the Dolphins on the ground, they were a completely different story. They had 2.8 yards a carry, which is pretty bad. But we knew coming into this game that the Saints' run defense, like I talked about, was top 5 in a ton of rushing categories. So no real surprise there. I think the big-time performance of the night, though, was Jalen Waddle. He had 10 catches for 92 yards and that one touchdown I was talking about earlier. He did really well. The Dolphins defensively also tore it up. I mean, the Saints offense is really broken right now. So they better be tearing it up if they really want to like make some noise and make a playoff push. They've got to be tearing it up against these really crappy offenses. They had 8 sacks. They had 2 interceptions. One was a pick 6. It was on Ian Book's second throw of the game. Once that happened, I kind of knew like the Dolphins have this game. But yeah, Dolphins, sound performance, sound win. They got to get their run game figured out still. Duke Johnson, he's looking fine. He did a lot better in the last game. That was against the Jets, of course. So they really got to find their groove if they're gonna maybe make a playoff win happen this year. I just think the fact that they now are 7 games into a win streak, that's really awesome after starting 1-7. Now for the Saints, to talk about the Saints, we got Ian Book, who I previewed a little bit before. Sort of knew this was going to happen. I was hoping he'd be able to maybe scramble in for a touchdown, but man, he had no help from his offensive line or his offensive skill players, really. Dolphins defense knew they were going to try and get Alvin Kamara the ball as much as possible, and the Dolphins did a really good job of shutting Kamara down. They held him to 59 yards on 15 touches. So it wasn't Kamara's best night, but like, dude, the Saints offensive line is so banged up and all their COVID protocol people that had to sit out of the game. It really didn't help Ian Book. He made a few decent throws. But other than that, like, he looked like a 4th round draft pick getting thrust into a game with a limited roster. Yeah, there's really nothing special that he did. It was just sad watching him just get hit over and over and over again. Another interesting thing that I noticed, they talked about this in the game, the Saints did not convert on 3rd down once the whole game. So the Dolphins, like I was saying before, they did really, really good at shutting down the Saints offense, which they should have, like I said. So now, since this is going to be a shorter video, let's take a look at the playoff picture, how that's looking. We talked about last week how the Dolphins would slide up to 7, and yep, there they are. As of right now, they are the 7 seed. It's obviously not locked in, but that's looking good for them. The Saints moved down a spot. They're the 10th place team in the NFC. I really think they do have to win out if they're going to even have a shot to make the postseason. Honestly, with how injured they are, like, there's probably a few other NFC teams that are more deserving of the postseason than they are. I think the NFC is really going to come down to those last two spots is going to come down to three teams: the Vikings, Eagles, and the Niners, which the Vikings have a tough road to that. They've got to beat Green Bay again. I don't know if that's going to happen. So right now the 49ers are the 6th seed and the Eagles are the 7th seed. But yeah, going back to the Dolphins are now the 7th seed. So they control it. I think if they win out, they'll be able to keep that 7th seed. Let's see the upcoming games. Ooh, Miami is playing the Tennessee Titans. Zach and I are going to do a video later this week breaking down all these games. We'll do our weekly picks, who we think is going to win each matchup. This is going to be a big game. We've got a lot of big games coming up. Let's just preview them right now. The Chiefs-Bengals game, that one's going to be a good one. Like I was saying, the Miami-Tennessee game is going to be a big one. Let's see. LA-Baltimore is going to be a big one, but LA is just going to beat Baltimore. The Rams, I should say. Arizona-Dallas is going to be a big one. Here's a little sneak peek. I think Arizona is going to pull off what looks like an upset against Dallas. Arizona's been I'd say like a slump, and Dallas has been on a big time high. I think Dallas is a team that just gets so cocky. Like, they play just like their fans. They get so cocky, and then they just get smacked in the face. Need I remind them that they got whooped by the Broncos a few weeks ago? That was just honestly fun to watch. But I think the Cardinals can upset Dallas. That one's got some playoff implications. Like I was saying earlier, Minnesota's playing Green Bay again. Minnesota beat Green Bay earlier this year. I don't think that's going to happen again. And then Monday night, we got the big-time matchup. The Cleveland Browns against Pittsburgh. But yeah, Miami Dolphins and the Tennessee Titans, that's going to be a huge game for Miami. Trying to keep their win streak alive. It's going to be a tough matchup for them. But I think they can do it. I think they can pull it off. As for the Saints, they're playing Carolina. Carolina's just a mess. I think even if Ian Book is still playing quarterback, and even with the Saints situation, I think the Saints defense is going to carry them to a win. Carolina, we were talking about how bad the Saints offense was. Carolina has no clue what they're doing as a team right now. They're just trying to skid to the offseason just to fix some things. I think the Carolina's going to keep Matt Rule, but they're going to make a ton of changes. I don't know. It's just crazy to think that Carolina had that great start at 3-0, the best defense in the NFL for a little bit. It's like, oh, come on, guys. Like, we know what's going to happen. Carolina isn't that good. And so the Saints should win. The Saints are not out of the playoffs yet. I think they'd have to win out and then have some other things happen. So let's sort of preview Week 18. Let me get there really quick. The Saints are playing Atlanta. That could be a big-time game depending on how the playoffs shake out. Both the Saints and Atlanta still have a shot to make the playoffs. I think that would be a really cool game if whoever wins that ends up as the 7th seed. Like, that would be a big-time game for both those teams to fight for. I don't think either team belongs in the playoffs, though, honestly. But, I mean, when you have 7 teams from each conference, you're going to have one crappy team make it into the playoffs. So, that'll be cool. Let's see who the Dolphins have for Week 18. Ooh, New England. So, I'm going to be really enjoying watching the Dolphins these next 2 weeks. I say if they win out, they could upset a team in the playoffs, which would be really cool. I mean, I've been a big Tua fan ever since he was in college. It was sort of disappointing to watch him his rookie year get benched and still trying to figure things out, but he's really hitting his stride right now. If he can get rid of those nasty 2 or 3 plays a game where it's like, you just look at him, you're like, what the hell are you doing, Tua? If he can get rid of those, I think he's just going to be a good, solid quarterback for the Dolphins to have for a long time. But yeah, we'll be back on the podcast in a few days to do our weekly picks. We'll have Zach on there as well. So yeah, that was our second practice episode of the Fade Late podcast. See you guys later.